Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to the Pool Noodle Challenge. In the following video, you'll see a series of challenges that I've come up with for you involving a pool noodle. Now, the following challenges work on your hand-eye coordination, your strength, and your balance. If you don't have a pool noodle at home, you can use something like the cardboard inside part of a wrapping paper roll, or even the very end of a paper towel roll. You'll just have to make adjustments as to what you can do with the challenges. Some of them you may not be able to do, but others you'll be able to complete. Have lots of fun. Okay, students, so here in the gymnasium, I have two different pool noodles of different sizes. I have a long purple noodle and I have a shorter blue noodle. I'll be using them both and doing challenges with them both. If you just have one size of noodle, that's perfectly okay. You can do these challenges with a long or a short noodle. Or if you have a cardboard roll, you can do a lot of these challenges with that as well. I'm going to start out with the long purple noodle, and I'm going to do some challenges that involve balance. And the first thing I'm going to do is to just try to balance the pool noodle on my hand. Try to keep it nice and steady. Now, if you don't find this balancing challenging enough, try focusing on something different. Like right now, I'm looking at the computer screen and you can see it's a little bit more difficult for me to balance. You can balance the pool noodle on the back of your hand. I bet some of you can balance the pool noodle on your head. You can try to balance the pool noodle on the top of your foot. If you drop it, that's okay. These are meant to be challenging. You can balance the pool noodle on your arm. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to toss the noodle up and catch it while keeping it balanced. Whoa, I had to spin around for that one. You can try to toss it to your other hand. That one's a little bit trickier. There we go. I think I can balance a little bit easier with my right hand. That's the hand that I write and throw with. You can toss the noodle high up in the air and catch it. Try tossing the noodle up in the air and just catching it with one hand. This is a little bit more hand-eye coordination. Try tossing it up and catching it with your opposite hand. I'm tossing with my right, catching with my left, or tossing with my left, catching with my right. Here are a couple things that you can do that are challenging with a short pool noodle if you have a shorter noodle. You can still do them with a long noodle, but with a shorter noodle, it's a little bit more challenging. Again, it's the toss and catch with the balancing. And you'll notice that the short noodle doesn't stay in the air quite as long, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. Another thing that you can do is flip the noodle around and catch it. So flip and catch. Flip and catch. You can also flip the noodle forward and catch it. What would really be challenging is if you flip the noodle and then kept it balanced. That one would be a little bit more difficult to do. So you can try your luck with some of those challenges with a shorter noodle. Here are a couple more balancing challenges that you can do with a pool noodle. Now, if you don't have one of these noodles, if you were using a cardboard tube or something else to do these challenges, something that works well for this is if you take a towel and roll it up so that it's a tube on the ground. Now, the first balancing challenge, you're just going to put your toes on the noodle or the towel and lift your heels up and just try to balance on the noodle. You can also shift your feet up and down the noodle and try to stay balanced, keeping your toes and your heels off the ground as much as possible when you move up and down the noodle. You can also walk the noodle kind of like a balance beam. You try to keep your balance while just touching the noodle. If you touch the ground, it's okay, but you want to try your best to stay balanced on the noodle. Give those a try. I hope you've had fun with some of the challenges that I've presented to you so far with the pool noodle. Here are some other things that you can do. Now, if you have a cardboard tube, this is going to crush your cardboard tube, but there are some strength exercises that you can do if you have a noodle. So you start with both of your hands squeezing the noodle, and you just walk your hands down the noodle, squeezing hard each time you move your hands. All the way until you get to the other end, and you walk your hands back down the noodle. You should really feel a burn in your forearms because it's helping you work on your grip strength. You can also do this way. So you just walk your hands all the way to the top of the noodle, and then you walk your hands back down. Like that. A couple other things that you can do with the pool noodle. You can test your reflexes. So you start with one hand here, and you see how quickly you can let go of the noodle and catch it. So release, catch, release, catch. And you try to get the shortest distance that you can while releasing the noodle and catching it. Another thing that you can work on is timing. So you try to release the noodle and catch the noodle near the top. So you hold your hand straight out and try to catch the noodle right at the top. Try those challenges. If you haven't had your fill of noodle challenges yet, here's a couple other things that you can do. One of them is called thread the needle. So you take the noodle in and out of your legs like this. And you try not to touch your legs at all with the noodle. This is called threading the needle. Another thing that's fun is bending the noodle and jumping through. So bend the needle, or the noodle, jump through. Lastly, if you have some type of light foam ball around, you can incorporate that into the noodle challenge. Try to pick the ball up off of the ground using only your noodle. See if you can even toss the ball up in the air and try to catch it using your noodle. Oh, almost had it there. Let me see if I can get it this time. There we go. I hope you had fun with all those different noodle challenges that I just shared with you. Remember, it works on hand-eye coordination, balance, strength, timing, and reflexes. If you have time, send me a video of you doing your favorite noodle trick. I hope you had fun, and I'll see you next time. Take care.